Inspirational Creatives, episode 221. Welcome to Inspirational Creatives. I'm your host, Rob Lawrence. Join me every Friday as I chat with successful artists, producers, and creative entrepreneurs who share powerful stories and strategies. They can help you to create the life that you want. Listen each week as these inspirational creatives show you how to take your creativity to the next level. You'll learn how to create a sustainable business that inspires others and gives you the financial freedom and lifestyle that you want. Thanks for listening. Make sure you sign up at inspirationalcreatives.com to get free exclusive bonus material. And now, on with the show. Rob here, and a very warm welcome to 30 Days of Daily Inspiration on the Inspirational Creatives podcast. Each day for the next 30 days, I'll be sharing with you an idea, a piece of inspiration, or a piece of wisdom that I feel will help you to add more creativity to your life and work. It's Friday, yippee, and we're over 2/3 of the way through this series of 30 Days of Daily Inspiration here on the Inspirational Creatives podcast. It's episode 221, and today I invite you to turn it off. Not this podcast, of course. Wait until the end of this short episode at least, as I wish to impart with you some ideas and wisdom to inspire you in the next few minutes. Now, the title of this episode is To Live Like It's the 1980s, and this could mean anything to you. You may or may not be old enough to remember the 1980s. Maybe you've got ideas, or if you're old enough to remember, even memories of the 80s. However, I remember it as a time when there was an eclectic mix of music and television programmes like The A-Team, Knight Rider, Dynasty, Dallas, Magnum, ABBA, I can't remember, Michael Jackson. But today I rarely watch TV. I no longer own one, but I still own records, cassettes and CDs, and I still love to listen to music. However, I invite you not to throw your television out of the bedroom window, but consider turning it off a bit more than you normally would. And if not the television, maybe the smart device or computer. For me, the 1980s was a time when there were no mobile phones, let alone smartphones. The internet wasn't yet in any school or household, certainly not in my neck of the woods, and there was no social media, Facebook, Instagram or Twitter. And my days were filled with vinyl records, cassettes and skateboarding around towns and cycling around the countryside. I'm not saying that life was better then, just different. And to be fair, I could pick any decade to emulate, but that's not the point. The point today is to ask yourself why you are using the tools that you use, like a smartphone, an iPad or a computer, and ask yourself, are they driving you, or are you using them to achieve some creative means? These days, I do my best to have a no internet before noon policy, and I like to turn off anything electronic a couple of hours before bed. I definitely sleep better. Of course, there are some exceptions depending on what projects I'm working on, but I've found that life only gets better by being more mindful of these things. I also recently learnt from another audio series, the Quest series brought about by Tracking Wonders' Jeffrey Davis, in a conversation with Charlie Gilkey from episode 23, that we often look at our smartphones or devices for reassurance. In those moments of doubt, I wonder if we're looking for companionship, love or reassurance, and that's why we've become so addicted to our devices. That's a whole new conversation, but today I invite you to consider being a little bit more mindful of what it is you use today and how. Maybe this is an opportunity to turn off the screen and to go back to good old-fashioned pen and paper, or reading a book, a real book, rather than a book that's on a screen that could offer some kind of other distraction. Remember, as a species, we've survived so far without these distractions, so make sure you schedule some time in your life to spend some time by yourself or with friends without the whirlwind of media, technology and distractions, and maybe listening to an album, dancing to music like it was the 1980s. Before we wrap up, I'd like to share with you a quick clip of a conversation I had with outdoor explorer and adventure guide Lauren Skonieczny in episodes 195 and 196. Lauren shared with me some of the benefits of not only boredom, but also getting out into the wilderness and away from technology and our smart devices. This short clip that I've chosen to share with you begins with the advice that Lauren, although still young, would offer to her younger self, somebody who previously had a full-on career in television. In episode 195, I asked Lauren what advice she would give to her younger self.
Probably that you can't control anything. Stop trying. There's something really scary to a lot of people about being alone with themselves. And when you go out, like I mentioned, I do go out solo quite a bit. There is this return to kind of a basic self and a basic nature that I think a lot of people would benefit from. I am maybe too stubbornly independent, but am very independent as a result of the time that I spent outside. You're out on the trail and you know that there's nobody around for miles and miles, and you need food, you need water, you need shelter. It's just you. And I think once you spend some time realizing that you are capable of providing those things for yourself, you carry that back with you. And there's a confidence in yourself that you don't get maybe in any other way. And there's also a realization that a lot of the things that we put around ourselves and we stress about are really, you don't need to be stressing about it that much. It's great when I come back from like a long trip where, I've had to walk a mile to go get water or work really hard to, get shelter or find a good tent site, to come back and kind of look at things in your life that you're stressing about and take a step back and be like, all right, did I have water today? Did I have food today? Did I have a shelter today? Did I have a place to sleep? All right. So at least basically things are okay. And that gives you a little bit more perspective to kind of go into everything else with. So what, that like this guy didn't text me back, or like, so what, that like I'm late to this appointment. I'm going to figure it out. It's going to be okay.
So good luck turning off, letting go and living like the 1980s or the 1930s. Whatever decade you choose, the choice is yours. I'd love to hear what comes up for you after listening to this episode. So drop me an email at rob@inspirationalcreatives.com and join me tomorrow for another day of daily inspiration. Thanks for listening. Nothing beats the stories and advice of an expert to help you raise your creative game. I would love to know what you thought about today's episode, so don't forget to subscribe in iTunes where you can rate and review the show. If you like this episode, I invite you to share it on Facebook or Twitter with the one person you know who will benefit from the wisdom shared here today. You can find the show notes on inspirationalcreatives.com/podcast. If you have a burning question or a great idea for a guest, head on over to inspirationalcreatives.com/contact, where you can connect with me there.